Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of No Orientation Programming. I'm Joe and today we will finish the API, hopefully. Or not. Let's see. Last time we have created the account restoring part in the account creating process, I think. And the password setting. No, we finished the locking system. Yes, the locking system, I think. I've added another process that is called data setting. Because this is the last process that is needed to make the API complete for the first version. We need to be able to create an account, set the password, verify the account, authorize the user, and then change the user settings. If we have implemented these processes, then the API itself in the administration app is finished. So I have to do two things before I forget them. At first, the listener should not listen netstat.ntl on port and netstat.ntl. The application, the administration application is listening on 4040 and it's listening on localhost already. Why is that? Yes, this true. So this is fine already. Port set, let's see. Because we don't want the administration app to be open to the outside world. Core TCP listening. Only local, yes. Local only. Sounds strange. Only. Okay. That's fine. Okay. Okay. Where should I begin? Yes, the account creation. This was the second thing I wanted to do. That is. I have an idea. What kind of information do we store in the user data? What kind of information do we store in the user data at the moment? We store the date when the account was created, verified. If the account is verified, the name of the user, the password, the verification code, its date, if it's verified. But we need another thing that is called the ring, and the rings tell the game server what the user can do, and I want to avoid saving something like this, a constant in it, but more like this, supporter a string, because I want the administration and the game server to be decoupled, kind of. Let's see. If we create an account, at least we have to make sure that the ring is saved. And the user authorizing process must return the ring as well. That is ring user, and yes, that's it. Data user, ring user, okay. So I think that's fine. Let's see what if we have the string saved somewhere in the gaming server, hopefully. Yeah, we need something like that. But that's fine. We have the information, the string information in the gaming thing, and from this information we can get the ID. So we just need to get the create the function. That's cool. And we don't have to save. We don't have to use a constant. That's cool. So if we create the account, then we have these elements in it, that is date account created. If the account is verified, the name of the user, the ring of the user, the code, date code created, verified, and later on we get this information as soon as we have verified the first code. Then we get the date for the account verified and the date for the code verified and a password. Cool. That's fine. That's cool. If I've changed the account creating process a little bit. I have added another state that is called from directory create to directory update. This is because if we have 4 possible cases. If you want to create an account and the user directory exists already, then we should just return and do nothing. If we are restoring and the directory isn't existing, we just need to return positive again. Otherwise, we want to have the path to the data, to the user data. We want to create the code. And depending on if we are if we have a directory and we want to restore the account, then we have to update the user directory. That is, we need to load the user data and then update the user data. And updating means we have to generate and save a new code. We have to save the generated code into the user data and then update the user data. And we need to do again something else. If we create a user, we want to limit the number of users that can be created on our system per day. So we need another process, a service process. That we call cleanup. This process should do multiple things. like scanning. Scanning. Oh yeah, scanning. Scanning the TGSA directory scan. Sounds fine to me. This is the TGSA scanning. We compile this process, then we include the thing, then an TGSA scanning, and then we create the process as a service process. P process is equal to start create. That's fine. So we see these three processes, command processing, people fetching, and a directory TGSA scanning. These are service processes. That means that the child process is living as long as the parent process. And this is looking like that. So we have the parent process TGS administrating, and these three processes are running all the time, unlike the processes which get created in the command processing. And as you can see, if we execute this, then command processing is making a new process user authorizing, and the result is the ID of the user, the ring of the user, if the user account is verified, and if the account is active. Let's see if date account created, account verified, user authorizing, account verified. Oh, I think I will change this. Account verified and account active. How can I delete this thing? No, click to apply, remove. Cool. So, okay, so we have the authorizing process. Oh, come on. It's perfect. Let's see. Account active. Okay, ring user, ID user. Yes, that's it. So the function of this process is the arguments are the mail of the user and the password. And as a return value, we have the ID of the user, the ring of the user, account active and verified. Okay. This is cool. Now, the last process we need is the data setting process. And I want to make an experiment. And that is... I want to simplify these macros. Define state string. State. I don't know. Let's see. For each state gen, this is a define created locally. Start gen enum, then state. Okay. And instead of using this, we say uint. And I don't know if this is fine. Let's try to compile this thing. State can st start, maybe. What's that? Process state enum. Process state. Let's see if we can compile this. We can remove the initialize function, not the shutdown function, because we will use this later. Okay, now it gets interesting. Expected for each state. For each state. process state enum. I really want to simplify this because it's so annoying all the time changing the stuff. For each state. This is a defined local. And then state name. Ah. No. Process enum is process state. Can we make this somehow simpler? This is a define, but where is it used? At which point is this thing used? I have a for each state, and then all the states, fine. Then this is the define. The generator. Yes, that's the process state enum, and the generator is this. I just have to, yes. Process state enum, and then the for each is all as well, and proc state enum. Yes, I think. Was not declared in this scope. For each state name, for each state name, yes, this is the state name. Processing them. Let's make do this at first. Void pbuffer and pbuffer and. Yeah, cool. Let's say st stat. Compiling. Hi Nick. How are you? Was not declared. The proc state string. process proc state string. Expect the constructor distributor type conversion. What? I'm fiddling around with macros. With my strange macros. Macros, somehow they are so perverted. Proc state string 25. Yes. Oh no. Nick, we are working on our API for the administration app. We have the game server, and the game server is talking to the administration app, and this app is doing all the user account stuff. It's working quite fine already. We can create processes which are working, processes that may take a lot of time, so the API is able to create the process, wait for it, and stuff like that. This is what I'm doing at the moment at the macros, is because I'm curious how to optimize the copy and paste stuff. So I have, this is a define from the process class, therefore it's called the process, yes. And then state enum, the state enum is working. Yes, absolutely. And very cool, our DC motorboard is quite fine. I think 200 pieces or more are in the real world already. They are grinding the skiers of a lot of people. And this was that project. Very cool. Working like a champ. But it was quite hard to get this thing running. Yes, absolutely. It was at the end. It was quite annoying because we had the first bugs, and they were quite critical, but we managed to resolve all the stuff. We have found a lot of stuff, and now we can say everything is quite fine. But it's very strange when you come to the end of a project, then it's so stressful. It was really strange. So this is we're working on that. Yes, quite. But we have to finish documentation stuff. It's quite cool. Why isn't this working? So this define is working, but this is not. And this is that define. And I have to use this proc state define. For each proc state, yes. We have the generator. The generator is this, the generator, then the state name, and then okay. Wait a moment. That's hurting my brain so much. That's the reason why I just copy and paste the stuff. So this is working, but this is not. Yes, I think this is it. Hopefully, come on. Oh yes, finally. And I think this will be simpler in the future, because before I had this thing in the header file and a little bit in the C file, and I always had to make a prefix, a different prefix, because it was in the header file, and for every header file I needed a different state type. But now I'm making the state type more abstract in the data, in the future processes, instead of stating the making a specific state type. I'm just using unsigned integer, and I hope this is working. So let's try. And that's cool. If this is working, then this is fine. So let's see. Makes it a little bit easier again. So every process is getting simpler and simpler. St start. That's fine. And now let's see. Now we should be able to compile this thing. Yes, that's cool. But there is something strange. Because if I exclude this thing, then the compiler is able to give an error. This is the reason why I did this. If I have an enum, the compiler seems to be able to check if something is missing. Let's think about that. I think I don't care, and I just use this, although it means that I have not that much compiler protection, but who needs protection anyway? Yes. Let's try it. Let's see if if we are comfortable with this. Okay, let's so what do we want to do? We want to change the user data. We can create a user account. We can send an email already, and this is quite cool. The email process is quite cool. We create a process. We create a user account with a specific command, and then a complete user structure will be built and created in JSON file, as a JSON file. And we can verify the account, we can authorize the account, and now we want to change the user data. And we make another helper script, user data set, and as arguments I can use name, no, mail user, not now I have the ID of the user, not the mail ID, and the ID must be something like this. I think that's all. So I don't need, I need the command ID, the ID of the process data setting. I don't need a user, and arguments. That is a data. All the stuff I want to update is here, and that's like foo, and that's my name, the name of the user, name user. I think this is it. Okay. Now, what kind of functions do we need? That is the first one. Oh, the first one is arguments format check. After shutdown, we need the sysflex unlocking. Den Weg der Netzwerkanalyse gekauft, welchen du nope. I don't think so. Weg der Netzwerkanalyse. I think it must be somewhere here. I think it should be. No, I did not. I did not. Vector Netzwerk. You mean this? Wow. Oh, yes. Yes, handheld. There was something. Now I just have one very cheap AliExpress thing. Nano VNA. This thing. Yes, I have. Yes. I think. No. Yes, sure, I think. Somewhere. No, it was this thing. The tiny SA. Do you mean this thing? Do you mean this thing? Nick, you're from... Yes, Spectrum Analyzer. It's quite cool piece of hardware, but it's a cheaper version of this Nano VNA, I think. I'm not sure. Something I have the cheaper version. It's not that powerful, I think. But you're from Vienna, aren't you, Nick? Okay. AliExpress isn't shipping to Austria anymore. That's so bad. I'm so sad. This is... I feel a little bit like my balls were cut off. I really needed AliExpress, but whatever. I need the field ID user. Yes, absolutely. For me, it's quite drastic. We have sourced a lot of stuff from AliExpress, so it's... At the moment, I'm in a state like, hopefully they will fix it. It's so bad. ID user. I want this ID to be. Nope. ID user, and I don't need a password, but what? Mail. ID. Now we have an ID. And this we have a member variable that is ID called ID user, and this ID user must be a valid SHA-256. Invalid user ID format. And this is it, hopefully. Let's see. We need an ID user. This ID user gets written into the member variable, and then this member variable is checked if it's an SHA 256. Fine. We want to check this in the start state. Then we want to log st user. We want to log the user directory. And we want to check the timeout. We want to try to log the user file log, and then we want to check if we were able to do that, and then mail to ID user, mail to directory user. What do we want to do? We want to have a user directory derived by the ID user to directory user. That's fine. We need a start variable, we need the logs, we need the user ID, we need the directory user, we need the path to the data, and we need, yes, data user, because we want to update this thing. We have to initialize all the stuff. Okay. So we will create the ID user in the arguments check function. At this point we have a valid user ID. Then we want to get mail to ID user, and I say ID user to mail to directory user ID user. That's better, I think. Yes. So we have mail to directory. I have an ID. Nope. ID. Fine. Come on. ID to directory user. Oh, that's fine. I think. Yes. Because then I can say return. Oh, yes, fine. Should we check this again? Yes. Mail to user ID. Yes, that's fine. ID, user ID, ID. This does not make any sense. What did I do? Mail to user ID. No. Yes, this. This is the thing I want. Okay. Ah, come on. Should I? Ah, come on. I'm confused. I think I need to drink a little sip. Okay, I think this is fine. Sometimes I can't decide what I'm doing. So, but I think now it's fine. I have splitted the functions a little bit. And mail, okay, mail is fine. ID is fine, but ja, post. I want to check. I make a check similar to this because this function can, although it's executed 2 times, but I don't care. That's better, I think. Let's try to compile this thing. Does not name a type. Yes, that's true because we need to include the library functions. Invalid use. Yes, of course. We want to load. We can use the account creating process. The account creating process has 2 functions: user data load and user data update. This is the last process we need for the API, and then technically, we are not finished with the API, but almost, because we are finished with the API, but the administration process needs has a PayPal fetching process and a directory scanning process. These 2 processes have to be implemented, but at the moment we can work with this. As soon as the API is working, we can continue with the gaming server itself. And we need to add these functions. We don't have a command. Success we have, yes, and okay. Now it should compile, hopefully. Yes, fine. So, the first thing is we wait for the directory to be locked. If the directory is locked, then we derive the directory from the of the user, from the ID, from its ID. Yes. Cool. Okay, that's fine. If we have the user directory, then we can create, then we can check. Oh, that's very important. That's very important. Yes, and that's it. It's the API should not reveal if a user account is existing or not. So if we check if the directory is existing after we have created the user directory, and then we want to check if the directory is existing. If not, okay, then we want to unlock the user's directory, and then just return positive, like nothing happened at all. We check the format of the user ID. This can be an error if somebody tries to enter a fake user ID, but if we have a user ID and we cannot find the user on the system, then we just return it's fine for us. We have nothing to do. And if the data has changed, then we also return positive. So you can't check if the user account is existing by executing the API. Okay. What should we do if this is fine? Then we create the variable for the data path, and then we try to create update. That means we try to read data, user data load. This function, now I have this function multiple times. This is bad. I don't want to. Let's add this to the administration library. Oh, yeah. Okay. This is done in a very short time. So, this does not belong to a specific process anymore, but we want to essentially yes, we need two things. We need a const std string reference path data, and then we want I think we want a JSON value, yes. JSON value reference data. I think this is it. So mPath data is changed to path data. That's fine, and data is I think this is it. Hopefully this is working, but we need an F stream, and I think this is fine if we remove this thing, because user data load, and we need the m path user, user path, come on, mpath data, yes. And then we have m data user. Cool. Then we can remove this thing, create and update. These are two process specific functions, and we have removed the general load function. That's fine. Now I have to do this for every I don't need use load anymore. Load. Yes, fine. So data user, and we have another processes. Account creating, then password setting, load, I think, yes. Load, and then path data, I think, yes, and then m data user. You should see this multiple times, but not in any process anymore. Authorizing. Oh, we still have the function here. No. What? Authorizing, yes. We have forgotten to remove this thing in authorizing. Load. Load. Oh, come on. Now we have removed multiple lines of code. That's fine. Oh, remove this thing. STD, JSON. libtgsa requires 3 arguments. Yes, of course. Has incomplete type and cannot be defined. Creating. And in password setting we want okay, then we just want to remove this thing. In creating we want to have the F stream, and in authorizing again we just want to have F stream, I think, hopefully. Cool. Oh, okay. It feels like I want to finish the API, and when I'm progressing, the API is moving forward. So the finishing line. So it's so strange. So we have the data. Hopefully, we want to positive. We want to finish someday. So this should be fine. We are loading the data, and now we are updating the data. And yes, fine. We have we should have an F stream here because we want to write to this thing. We have, instead of account creating, we have data setting. Yes. File data, JWriter. Yes, that's fine, because I want to add something. We need the ID user, and we also need the data. And if not arguments dot data is object, I think this should be fine. JSON CPP. Come on, CPP. I think I need another beer. Is object value. I think it's called is object value. No, is object. Oh, fine. If not, is object invalid data format. Yes, fine. Can we compile this thing? Oh, nope. Was not declared in the scope. Because we need to mcode. Ah, yes, update. Data updated. Hot, that's cool. And now we want to iterate through all the elements. We want to write all the elements, but we only want to write valid arguments, valid data elements. So we have a list of supported elements. Oh. I don't even know if this is proper C++. This will make a compiler error, I think. And I want to update something like this. The name of the user. We can update the name of the user. Otherwise, we would be able to change something like the ring of the user, and we don't want to do this. So I carefully check every element in the JSON if there is something we are not allowed to write. Let's see if I can compile this. I don't think so. Okay, string array. I'm such a noob. const std string reference. No, does this make sense? Does that make sense? No, that does not make any sense. Bool. Data element find, and of course const std string name element after the user update. Name element and return true. We have found this thing, and now we say for size ti like is equal to 0, I smaller than. Can we make something different? Does this make sense? Let's try. A vector would be cool. But I don't think this is working. Unused parameter. Let's... I always forget how to code C++, but yes, nice. So I have a vector string iterator is equal to this thing dot begin for not We go through all data elements, valid data elements, and we check if the name is the same as this, then we have found this thing. Why? Because it's an const iterator. Of course, yes. Almost. Okay. Yes, we are comparing a const string reference to a const table. We can change name user, nothing else, and if we don't find this element, then we go out immediately. Thank you for the follow, Lord Devilish. The gaming server is working already like a charm. It's very cool. We can play Connect 4, a multiplayer. What we are doing, we are very deep in the foxhole at the moment, because the gaming server is talking to the administration server. If you connect to the server, you can connect through two channels, Telnet or SSH. If you are using Telnet, then you are a guest. and you can play all the games, it's fine, but you can't participate on the chat in the lobby process of the game server. Only if you're registered and that's a paid account. And the gaming server is checking if you are using SSH, then you are able to log into the system, and the game server is taking your credentials and asking the administration server if this user is existent, verified, active, and at the moment the API itself is we're working on the API. The main process, the command processing listener is implemented. We have already multiple processes for the API which are processing the various commands, and the last command we need so the API makes sense, the last command is the data setting process, because of course a registered user has the ability to change all its settings. And yes, so and the API should be prepared for any strange inputs, so we check if all the elements are valid. Iterating through objects, there is some const iterator value root begin, yes, and then we have the name. It's like a map. We iterate, let's see here, we iterate over the data structure, and for every data element we have two things. We have the name of the user, we have the name of the value, name value pair. I don't know what I'm talking about. So we have a pair, the name of the variable and the value, and we have to go through all these pairs and check if they are fine. And I think the iteration should be done 2 times, because this function, the args format check, should also check as well if we have a variable that is an object, a JSON object, this is not valid. It shouldn't be a list like this, an array. At least, so we make a format check of this. This has to be an object. It is not allowed to be an array or something else. It must be an object. This is this check, and now we want to make a value iterator. I think a const iterator is fine. Iter, and then we have iter is arguments data dot begin, and then we say for iter stop, iter not equal to this thing dot end plus iter. Yep. and then we say if iter is object invalid element format is it's an object. If iter is array, then the same thing, it's an array. I think all the other stuff is fine. Let's see if we can compile this thing. Oh, fine. Poor. Didn't expect this. Did I change the right file? This is strange if something is compiling on the first try. Okay. Excuse me. I'm back in a minute. So, na cool. Cool. Oh yeah. Prost. Cheers. So I also want, in this function, I also want to check if we have found this entry in the list, because should we? Yes, data element find, that's okay. So we try to say, okay, is element find, and that's the part where I have to think. That's an iterator. Of a JSON value, and this thing has something that is called a key. Yes, I think it's called key. Yes, we have a type. A key. The key is, I think, the name key. Let's check JSON CPP key. key a string. Oh, come on. Dot key. Ah, dot iterator. Oh, let's try this. If not, okay, then element format. Invalid element. Element. So now I think I will try something. I think that I'm expecting this to be a string. Has no member key. Const class JSON value. This is a value. That's interesting. Okay, then like this. Yes. Exactly as string. Dot as. Oh, come on, this isn't beautiful. String element and then name element and then bool. Okay. Redeclaration of bool. Nice. Okay, then we try something strange. Invalid key. Unknown. Let's call it unknown, not invalid. Unknown element. Yes, that's better. So we check the complete structure. If the data is an array, so we can iterate through it, and then we check if its sub-elements should not be an object or an array, but something else, and then we check the element name. If it's fine, then it can be a bool, an int, unsigned integer or string. That's fine. And then we can iterate again through all the elements. And set our data. Oh, come on. The hell. Is equal to iter dot operand types are yes, fine. Now this cannot be a const iterator, of course, because yes, it can. Yes, what's the matter? No match, open a JSON value and JSON const iterator. Okay. So let's see the data set. We have the correct ID, user ID. We have a data and name user and dummy and unknown key. Data setting. How about our state machine? The state machine says we are locking the user directory and we derive the directory of the user because we have a user ID with a valid format. Then we check if the directory exists. If not, we return positive, very important. Not an error. We only throw an error if there are strange, unexpected errors, like we were not able to load something or an element is missing in the data structure, some real error. But a non-existing user is not an error, very important. It must have the same outcome as the general task, the usual task. So we have a user load, but we do not have a user update. And this is it. Should be the last thing. We have a load in the library and we have an update. We have an element find helper function. We go through all the objects and set the value. Unknown element, unknown key. We got a request from outside. The command is create something. What? Create a process that is called data setting with the arguments ID user, a valid user ID, and the data is name user, dummy, and unknown key. But this process was not successful because there is something in the data structure that we don't know. Cool. We remove this thing now and then we say this. Let's see what's happening. Invalid element format. It is an object. I'm not seeing anything. Hopefully this compiles. Come on. Oh. What is happening? Okay, I'm not the blind coder. So let's check. Dummy is an object. Yes, it is. Dummy is an array. The process was successful. Let's see how successful. We should see a dummy and we have a changed user. We were called a changed username. We were called noob. Yeah, absolutely. Interesting observation. Yes, you're completely right. If you press enter very hard, it's more likely that the compiler will compile. No, I don't know. I'm hitting enter very hard, yes. So that's fine. That's cool. The first processes were creating the first processes was very slow and hard because we had to implement all the very base functions, all the helper functions. This project has 15,000 lines at the moment, although it's quite young. So, but now the data setting was quite fast. Every file should be in between 200 and 500 lines, so this is a fine. According to this rule, it's fine. So now the API should be fine for a moment. I think we can just let it be for that for today, the API, because we have everything we need to continue to go out of the foxhole and continue the gaming server. We can create an account, we can set the password, we can set the password, we can authorize a user, and we can set the data of the user. So the other tasks, the scanning task is just this scanning task is has multiple tasks. This process has multiple child processes. For example, this process will have in the future a garbage collection. This thing should scan the entire directory and remove all the stale, and I think it's called stale and dormant. Yes, dormant accounts. If you create an account but you don't verify the account, then this process is cleaning up the user database. This is the purpose of this what's called stale, schal abgestanden, yes. So this is cleaning up the user directory in the future, but I don't want to implement this in the stream at the moment, because this took quite a while and now I want to go out of the foxhole. So perfect. Okay. We did a lot of stuff. Yes. Let's try to be more. Yes, one moment. I don't want to call this. Oh, come on, data, element, proof. I called it field one time. Let's call it field. Valid data fields. Data field find. Okay, fine. So. Data setting, okay, data setting, I don't care about that at the moment. Because I want to see what is in data setting. Yeah, lib teaches A. We have, yes. Oh, we have a white space error. Ooh, why? Okay. Git add. Not in data setting. No. No. Yes. Split. No. Yes. libtgsa. Add function ID to directory user. Yes. Add function remove string. Use the new function. Remove this function. Use lib function. Password. Use library function. Use authorizing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes. Nope, nope, yes. Yes, lib function. Yes. Mm-hmm. Nope, nope. Password verify. Authorizing. User authorizing, yes, of course, fine. Okay. Git as. Implement. Okay. Fine. Okay. The authorizing process should check if this account. No. Authorizing is just returning all the stuff, yes. It needs to check if everything we need is here. Active, yes. ID user, the ring of the user. If the account is verified, this is a stored variable in the user data. And account active is something else. This is provided by the PayPal fetching process. Okay. Now, now we can go out of the foxhole and return to our gaming server. Finally. So we have implemented two sides. The first side was the SSH protocol. Now we can connect through an encrypted channel, and on the other side we have a server, an administration program that is telling us if the user is active. Okay. So this is the gaming server. Ninja and let's see if we can still compile the gaming server itself. TGS, I think, yes. And we want say we are positive 4 and let's make help. Oh, still everything is compiling. That's cool. Positive 4 and we say port telnet is port forwarding range, yes, 4000. Port telnet is 4000, and port SSH is 4001. Do I need something else? I think not. Yes, so this is the gaming server, and you can connect to this gaming server from the outside by let's see if we can see the process tree. Localhost, I think it's 3000. Yes, this is the process tree of the gaming server, and we can connect to this server with telnet Nigelus -testing usto, and we need 4000. Yes, perfect. Still working, everything is fine. So we can connect to the server. We can go to the settings page. We are a guest with ring 5, and our gamer name is a random name. We cannot choose a gamer name because we are not a supporter through the telnet channel. And if we connect to if we enter the settings page, then we can try to set the gamer name, but it's not working. We can read some stuff, version history. Oh, come on. We can read the version history. Licenses, JCPP, tclap, cryptolib, curl. Fine. Yes, that's the current state of and we still can create a game server, and then we can play Connect 4. So a lot of stuff is working already. So this is fine, but we are also able to connect with SSH, and this is the interesting part now. I think it's port 4001, and then foo at Nigelus testing usto. I'm not. SSH P, is this a big P? I don't know. A capital P. Localhost. Okay. Let's try. Oh, come on. SSH foo at Nigelus testing USTO port 4001. Yes, and yes, you are entering TGS. This here we can see that. Oh, come on. We see that we have the game server, and the game server is creating a gamer interacting process because somebody has connected. The connection is secure. We have an SSH transferring process, and the version of the remote of the agent of the client is an OpenSSH thing. Timeout receiving authentication request, of course, because I did not enter the password. Let's try to enter password test. And then we get this authorizing user page. An animated page, that's cool. And this was the point and at which we had to switch to the administration program. Now we have implemented a command listener which is able to not only create commands but also and functions, but also more powerful processes. We can create a process, multiple processes that are executed in parallel, and then we can check the state of a process, and for each process we can check the state, and then we can get the result as soon as it has finished. That's cool. That's very cool. And now this service, this administration service is running, and we can see this the process tree of the administration program here. And now we have the gaming server running, and this page should take the credentials of the user and send it to the administration process. And then we should be able to enter the system finally as a supporter. Okay. No, it doesn't matter. Okay. So let's see at which point the authenticating process is started in the gamer interacting process, I think. SSH authentication, yes, SSH authentication. Yes. Now, we have to be careful because I want to. This is worth a wiki page entry. Ooh, we have a new year. SSH authentication. Cases. Oh, come on, cases. And this is 041. Yes, I think this is fine. Authentication cases. This is kind of... We have to be careful because... Come on. We have multiple cases and these are... We want to connect. We have functions, SSH functions, and these are a command line and secure copy. And we have multiple clients. That is OpenSSH and PuTTY. And we have multiple processes. Functions, I don't want to call it multiple sessions. Command line and secure copy session. Then we have multiple clients. Sessions, and we have multiple processes. The process that is account creating. Then we have account restoring. Then interesting. Yes, that's cool. Account authorizing and password setting. And we need to find a way so we can implement all these situations. And then we are fine. I want to connect with OpenSSH from Linux or from Windows with PuTTY. I want to be able to create a command line, and I want to be able to upload for example a public key so I can connect to the server without entering a password. I want to be able to create the user account, restore it, authorize, and set the password. Yeah. I want to include this password setting. Include password setting process if account is not verified yet. That means the API is able to do these 4 things and more: data setting. The administration process is able to create an account, restore the account, that's the second beer. That's the second beer. Oh yes, fine. The API is able to create the account, restore the account, authorize a user, set the password of a user. But we want to simplify this thing from the user point of view, because if I create an account, I connect to the server with the intention to create an account. Then we have to get a user interface that leads us and forwards us to the account creation process. If as soon as I have created the account, I get an email with a generated verification code. This is working already. And then I want to log in immediately. And this is possible because no, it's not. Is it possible? Theoretically. Yes, theoretically. No, that's dependent on how the clients behave, because the cool thing would be if I create an account, I connect to the server and I my first guess would be to use something like that. Let's make... Oh, come on. SSH. I want to make something like this. Create at localhost. That's not working. Say SSH create at localhost. Then, as you can see, we are connecting with the SSH client and we already got an authentication request. Access requested for the service SSH connection, and the method is none. It's not password. The user is create, and this can be a keyword for us. That's not a valid email, so it's not a valid user thing. And as soon as we see a create, we see this username at first. We can use... Oh, come on, this is so strange. SSH office at domain, for example, at localhost. This is possible. Seems looks kind of strange, but it's possible. Let's connect to the server. If we connect to the server, as you can see, we see this user immediately. We see the user name immediately. We see that it does not contain any keyword. We can have a list of keywords, and the keywords are like create and restore and something like that. And if we do not have, if we see that this is not a keyword, but a valid and a valid, it's not a keyword and it's a valid email, then we can at this point we are able to, without entering a password, we are able to ask the administration program if such a user is existing, and if that's dangerous. We cannot have, we always have to keep this in mind. We cannot distinguish between, we cannot say if this user is existing, because if we have a different behavior, if we dependent on if a user is existing or not, then we are revealing this information if a user is registered on the system. So this is not allowed. We are not allowed to make a different behavior if a user exists or not. Okay. Wait a moment. Maybe this is fine. This would be a compromise. Okay. Yes, that's a very hard topic. That's a hard topic. Account states. An account can have these stages. Not existing. Existing but not verified. Existing, verified, but not active. Existing, verified, and active. These are the states an account can have. Let's make it existing and verified. Not active and active. The hell? What's going on? Okay, fine. So, if maybe it's fine. That's worth an info, a warning. Do not reveal. Okay. Account states. Do not reveal important user account information. And that is warning. The cool thing is we don't store any important useful information on the server because this is a user account and we don't have an email stored and we don't have a password stored, so it's completely useless if somebody is breaking into the system completely and then we don't have any emails or passwords stored whatsoever. So this is kind of cool. And I also want to hide the information if I connect with a certain email. I don't want to get any information about if this email is existent on the system or not. This email is transferred as garbage as hash on the server. Then we are only dealing with hashes anymore the rest of the time. But I even don't want to share this information if an email is existent on the server. Okay, so, but on the other hand, I want it to be convenient for the usual user. So I will make a compromise, I think. We see somebody connects. The bad thing is we also have to consider how Putty and the other clients behave, and I think Putty is behaving in a very bad way for us. But that's the next thing. For example, if I connect with OpenSSH, then I get an access request without any further credentials, only the username. No password method or public key method. That's the first attempt of the client to connect to the server without any method. Authentication method. At this point, we have a username. We could ask the administration process is a user with this email existing on the server. This is not working. This is not working because for the API, it's mandatory to provide a password user. We are not able to. If we try to authorize a user without a password, the API will say it needs a password. And if we don't provide the correct password, and we cannot at this point, then the API will say the following. Could not authorize user. If something is wrong with the password, the response is could not authorize user. If the user isn't existing, then we get the same message. So we don't know if the user is existing or not, and we don't have any information if the user needs to be verified, if the account of the user needs to be verified. The internal requirements of the API, of the API of the administration program, is limiting the user experience. Because it would be cool if I'm able to create an account, I get a user email. I get an email. The user should get an email. The user is getting an email, and then the user has to verify the account, and it would be cool if I just could connect to the server like this, and then it's not prompting for a password, but because we have got the username and the administration tool could tell us if a user is present and if the account is verified. because if it's not verified, then we should not send a different authentication method. We could check if a user is present on the system, and if the account is not verified, we could skip the password authentication because the user doesn't have any password yet. We could accept the user without any authentication and say, okay, you are on the system, your account has been created, but you have to set your password first and you have to provide the verification code you have received. But and the cool thing would be, because a non-verified account is this period, this time window is very short. So this is the account states are it's not existing, and for a very short time it's existing but not verified. In this period we would be vulnerable in this aspect, that we would, in this very short time, we would provide this information if a user is present on the system or not. But if a user is not existing, if somebody is logging into the system, we can ask the administration process, do you know this user? If the administration process, the server, is telling us, no, this user is not present on the system, then we could just tell we could fake a login. We could send the password method. We could say to the client, yeah, try to log in. Then we type a password, and because we already know this is not going to happen, we could then, after the password has been provided by somebody who wants to know if this user is present on the system, after that we could send, oh no, it didn't work. We could send an answer, this didn't work. So some third person that is trying to check if an account is existing on the system would not know in this case if it just provided the wrong password. So we just have to make the same response for not existing and verified, but the wrong credentials. But for this to work, we would have to change the API. At the moment, the API can just oh, come on. Oh, I think it's possible. I think from this side of the system, I think it's possible. Because we can do the same strange thing in the administration server itself, making an exception for this case. So if you ask the administration server, I want to authorize a user, user authorizing in TGA administrating, yes, that's the right thing. So we could check the arguments and say we need the mail of the user, and at the moment we want to have a password. We could delay this check. We can delay this check. If we have the mail of the user, then we are able to get the ID of the user and the directory of the user. Then we can load the user data. If we are loading the user data and then we verify the password, then we can check if the account is verified or not. If the account is verified, if it's not verified, then we could return a response. So the API would be open in this case as long as the account has not been verified. That's one moment, please. Okay. It would be possible from if we only check this aspect, but no. The client for Linux, for example, is OpenSSH and SCP, And for Windows, we have PuTTY, and I think it's called PSCP. Now we have to check something, and I think this is bad. We will try to connect with PuTTY and see what's happening. Testing SSH. If I click open, connect once, and that's the bad thing. Received authentication service request. We received an authentication service request, but we did not yet receive an authentication request, only the authentication service request, but not the authentication request. Now we are disconnected because it took too long. Yes, fine. Oh, and that's the bad thing, I think. That makes the whole process very uncool. Log in as foo. And if we type in foo. We received an authentication request. Method none. That's cool. Actually, that's very cool. Because I have to input the user first. The only difference is that we have to input the user later in PuTTY, and here we can input the user immediately. But as soon as the user information is available on the client side, we receive the first connection attempt, authentication attempt without any method. That's cool, that's cool. Yes. I think that's very cool. We can take this username and we can create an user authorization process in the administration program. And send the user without any password. It's very likely that we don't get any answer from the administration server because either the password is not working or the user is not existing. If the user is not existing, in any way. We got the message from the administration server and we say okay. We were not able to authorize the user without any password. So we sent back to the client the available methods, authentication methods, and this is password. If we send an user authorizing request to the administration server and we don't get any response, at this moment we don't know if the user is existing. If we send an user authorization request to the administration server, then we have two cases. First, sending username and username is equal to username. Don't make it like that. Can I make this? Oh, username. Cool. Sending username equals to and password is equal to empty string, then response cases. We have two responses. We can get the response could not authorize user if what? Okay. If user does not exist, or if credential pair does not match. Otherwise, we get and only we can get the user data if account is not verified yet. No matter if a password or which password has been provided. Let's see if this makes sense. Somebody's connecting with a username. Both clients try to log into the system without any method. They try to log in without any method. They provide a username. As soon as we get this username, we can ask the administration server. We try something. Then this process is responding with could not authorize user. If this is the case, we just ignore the message and we should not be able to distinguish between if the user does not exist or the credentials pair does not match. But if this thing is returning, if the process is returning data, then we know that the account is not verified yet, and this is the only window at which we can at least check Yes, that's cool. If we get a data response, then we know we have to, then we know the user can't provide a password because the user does not have a password at all. So we are able to make account creating, and that is create at Nagios USTO. Then we provide an email. Or should we use the password? Should we use the keywords? Should the keywords be in two cases? two possible mechanisms. This or mail at we could make a password that has that is a special keyword, or we use the username as a keyword. The advantage here is that we know immediately that we are in the creation process. If we do it like that, we provide the user mail and say password create, then ha ha ha. And that's the reason why it's really hard, because now this is oh, come on, this is the reason why it's hard, because we have different clients, we have different sessions, we have different processes, but we also have multiple authentication methods, and that is password and public key. And that's the reason why we have to be careful. That's the reason why we have to be careful. We should not make we have to make the right response. We can. Okay, we have authentication methods, and we have 4 possible authentication methods, and we have responses, and that is okay, or we can say not okay, because SSH authentication, we can make an authentication request response okay or failure. Yes. And for the failure, we can say okay or failure. Success, we can say success, or we can say failure. Let's use this thing. These are the SSH messages we can provide to the client, and if we provide a failure, then we can make respond with no authentication method possible. Password is possible, only password is possible. And we could say password and public key. This is done in, I think, oh, nice. That was the first try. Public key. If we say success, then the user is logged into the system immediately. If we say failure, then we can say it failed because you did not provide a password. We can say it provide because we can say this multiple times. Authentication response. We have to consider another thing. That is, yes. We create the SSH authentication process as soon as the authentication process is positive. At which point is this process positive? Access requested. If it's not password, then we have an authentication request response of failure. Then we say failure and we say we want to have a password. If we get a password method, then we return positive. This is a bad design. The bad design, we created this process, the process definition at the time where at which we were not able, at which we didn't know the exact situation. But now we have to consider something else. Account states do not reveal important information, and behavior clients, behavior TGSA, and TGS. Try to warning. User should get status frame as soon as possible. This is another requirement. And this is the final thing. Now the the frame is done. So the design of the process is at first this process had only one requirement, and that was the user should get the status frame as soon as possible. And this means that I think we have to drop one important requirement. We have to drop one important. What? Why? Come on. No, come on. User should get status frame as soon as possible, and we have another requirement that is password should not be entered in interactive mode. What kind of bug is this? Okay. These are the two requirements. Let's make it like this. Come on. Requirement. Oh, come on. And another requirement. Okay. So we have these two requirements. As soon as a user is connecting through SSH, then we want to get the login information. We want the user should be informed about the process of the should be informed about the login process. Is this possible? And I think this is only possible if we tell the thing as soon as possible our intention, what we want to do. Authentication method password needed. None skipped. And that's what we don't want to do. We don't want to skip the non authentication method. We want to use this non-authentication method to distinguish between the intentions. We can say here restore at Nagelus USTO, and then we can enter an email address. That's fine. Come on. Yes, include password saying if account is not verified yet. Is warning. Yes, that's an important requirement. Do not reveal. TGS. Come on. Yes, fine. Cool. And here we say TGS requirements. Okay, I think this is it for today. We have entered all the requirements for the authentication. There are multiple cases. We have to be careful how to implement the processes. We have to now, because we have all the surroundings, all the environment, we know what we can expect. We know the requirements and the possible situations, like what clients can we have? 4 clients, at least. OpenSSH, SCP, PuTTY, PSCP. The sessions command line and secure copy. The authentication methods, password and public key, and none. The authentication methods, none, password, public key. The responses, user out, success, failure, password and public key. Then we have different processes: account creating, restoring, authorizing, password setting. And then we have different account states. Okay. We have, yes, the processes and the account states, not existing but not verified. This is a special case we are willing to reveal because it is making the it's improving the user experience. So this is a compromise. Existing and verified. And we have a different behavior. Behavior, OpenSSH. Sending method non-immediate. User can specific user can be provided, otherwise a system user is taken. Is used. Sending method non-immediately, specific user can be provided, otherwise the use of the operating system is provided. Is used. If the response, depending on the response of the gaming server, the client is requesting a password from the user. Depending on the response of the gaming server, the client is requesting a password from the user. Or not. Okay. Clients, putty. Sending method none as soon as the user has provided a username. Okay, and here, depending on the response of the gaming server, the client is requesting a password from the user or not. Okay. I think this is all we have to consider. It's quite a lot, but hopefully we can. Next time we will create the concept. Today we finished the API. The basic version, the API itself is fine. We only have to add or implement 2 processes from the administration server, but we will take a break from the administration server. Next, and today we also created and documented the base requirements. As you can see, quite a lot. There are quite a lot scenarios and situations, cases we have to consider. Next time, I think this will be an interesting session. Next time we will try to derive the authentication, the full-blown authentication concept for the gaming server, depending on these requirements. And if this is working, then we are very, very, very happy. Okay, cool. I hope not every one of you is sleeping at this moment. We have half an hour. Oh, Rennsemel and TV Peak. Let's see what the people are doing. Oh, Rennsemel is designing a very cool game. I think it's a tower. It's a tower defense, and the graphics are so amazing. Oh, he's oh, come on, he doesn't show. The trees, bushes, or whatever are not activated. They are looking so cool. The fortress is looking amazing. JV Peak is making I can't even say the word. This seems to be interesting. A kernel mode IPX. Interesting. Symfony is playing again. Are you Dutch or German? Yes. Let's rate him. So, kernel hacking, rate here, Hotzen, the fuck, Hotzen plots. See you next time at Tuesday. Bye everyone.